So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys, the Evolution Daily family, you guys who have been here watching my content for a long time. I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 frames of mind that I believe have had some of the most drastic impacts on my life over the years. Now, these are in no particular order. They are not the only 5 frames of mind that have shifted everything for me, but they are 5 that I believe that if you are able to internalize them, if you're able to utilize them, then I believe that they can make a massive, massive impact on your life. And so I want to share these with you guys today. Now, these aren't all going to be game related. These aren't all going to be pickup related. If you're new here to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'm mostly talking dating, pickup, self-development, helping men to really level up in life. And so that's really the content that I bring to this channel each and every week. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm just going to call this 5 frames. Let's go ahead and start that over. So this is going to be 5 frames that, again, they're not the only things in my life that have changed everything for me, but I'm somebody who I was an incel. If you've been following my story for any amount of time, then you'll know that I'm somebody who I was never able to hook up with chicks. I grew up very, very broke, very lower middle class. I was delivering pizzas. I was incredibly overweight. My life was hell. And I've now gotten to a point in life where, I'm able to afford an incredibly nice apartment in Austin, Texas. I just bought my dream car, actually. I've been able to hook up with hundreds of women over the years and date many of them. That number could be a lot higher if I didn't fall in love with some of these chicks and go in and out of relationships with them. So, I've been able to have a lot of success. And ultimately, I would really just like to say that despite all of that, what's really the most important is that I went from being incredibly unhappy to now being very happy. And so I'm going to share some of the ways that I was able to do that. So first off, I was able to understand by reading the book, The Power of Ambition by Jim Rohn. In The Power of Ambition, Jim Rohn, he says, the universe will never respond to what you want. It'll never respond to what you need. It will only respond to what you deserve. So all you're ever really going to get in this life is what you deserve. And so for me, what that made me realize was that at that time in my life when I heard that, I wanted so many things. I needed so many things. And I would fantasize all the time about driving down the road and seeing an empty duffel bag, and I go and I find all this money in it. I would fantasize about this really, really hot girl from work falling in love with me, wanting to be with me because of my work ethic or because of the way that we vibed or whatever that was. And so when I shifted from recognizing that nobody cares, God doesn't care, the universe doesn't care, nobody cares what you want, nobody cares what you need, the world around you will only respond to what you deserve. Everything shifted for me. So if there's things that you want in your life, you better start succumbing to and surrendering to the truth, which is that you're going to have to work really, really hard to be able to deserve the things that you want and need in this life. So that's number 1. Now, number 2 is that risk is an illusion. Risk is an illusion. So we don't take big leaps in life because of how risky it is. It feels so risky. It feels as though you've got this warm safety blanket around you right now, and that if you take this risk, that it's all going to be taken away from you. And so I was reading the 4-Hour Work Week years ago. I recommend it to any entrepreneur or somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, by Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Work Week. And in the 4-Hour Work Week, he tells this story about a friend of his who had actually taken time away from his business, and he went to Thailand. And what he did was he went and he lived in some extremely poor village with no phone, no technology, and he didn't eat anymore. He didn't have anything more than the people around him. So I believe he was only eating a ball of rice every single day living in this village. And what that showed this entrepreneur was that he was able to actually find happiness once he removed all of those dopamine triggers from his life. The money, the sex, the cars, the luxuries, the shows, the porn, the everything that we're so addicted to all the time. Once he removed all of that, and he went down to what is basically being homeless. He basically became homeless, and he was able to find joy in that and find joy in the little things in life. And so, especially if you guys live in the United States, when it comes to finances, right? When it comes to starting a business, all these different things, bro, like, I wouldn't recommend this by any means, but you can declare bankruptcy. You can declare bankruptcy. We have so many social safety nets in this country, in the United States, and I'm sure other developed nations as well. So many safety nets where you're not ever really going to end up homeless. The only people that truly end up homeless for a long period of time, they have mental illness. Because if you are in the right state of mind and you end up, homeless temporarily, you can go out and seek help. There's programs out there that actually will just help you get back on your feet. Chances are you have family. Chances are you have friends. So, I know a lot of guys that are always thinking, should I take this safe route in life and do this job and save up money for a long time before I do some crazy thing like start a business or travel the world? And I always say, no, do it in reverse, because you can start the business, you can travel the world, you can do all this sort of crazy stuff, and that job is always waiting for you. You can actually go start college at age 35 and become a lawyer. You can go start college at age 35, age 40, and become a doctor. I mean, genuinely, college is always there for you. And again, all these social safety nets. I mean, risk, it just doesn't really exist. It's an illusion. And when it comes to approaching women, even that, right? There's so much risk that we have in our mind of our, potentially our reputation, embarrassing ourselves, but it's never, ever the case. When you go home and you think to yourself, man, I embarrassed myself by getting rejected by those 5 women, bro, you're just another dude that hit on them. You're just another dude that hit on them. Nothing bad happened. Nothing bad can happen to you. I mean, truly, truly, risk is an illusion. So that's been a major, major game changer for me. Now, number 3. So I want you to imagine that the life that you're building is a castle. And I heard this great quote years ago that really, really changed everything for me. So you're trying to build this castle, right? So here's your castle. Now, this is the outline of your castle. And the quote that I heard that really changed so much about the way that I looked at my failures in this life was, every success and every failure are equal bricks in your mansion. Every success and every failure are equal bricks in your mansion. So we're building a castle here. We're building an empire. We're building our goals, our life, what we want for ourselves. This is the castle. And you need to have the winning bricks. Absolutely. You need to have the wins here to build this castle. But without the failures, it all falls apart, because the failures are what led to so many of the successes. The failures are where some of the most important lessons in your life will stem from. Without the failures, then you didn't take big enough risks. And the people, who do you think is making the most at the poker table? The guy that sits down and plays $5 every hand, or the guy that sits down and plays $1,000 hands? The higher risk, the higher reward. And so the bigger risks that you take, the harder you fail, and the deeper that lesson from that failure penetrates deeply, deeply into your mind. I cannot stress this enough, how much over the years, especially in game, especially going out talking to women, how much the failures that I've had have taught me. And I've learned a lot from the wins, from the girls that I hooked up with that were completely out of my league, from the threesomes I've had, from the same night polls, from, the crazy experiences that I've had. But the failures where I lost a chick, the ones that keep me up at night, are the ones where I was so close and I lost her last minute. And I'm able to go back and identify, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong here that I can do better next time? And so really start to reframe your failures as these incredibly important lessons that are just as important as the successes to building this castle, to building this empire for yourself. Now, number 4 here is that you will always figure it out. You're going to always figure it out. I don't care where you look at your life right now. Look at your life right now. You are watching this video right now on a laptop, on a cell phone. There's a good chance you're indoors. Maybe you're in a vehicle. You've probably got food around you, easily accessible. You probably got a fridge somewhere if you're inside with food in it. You've got electricity. You've got music. You've got all these things. You've got a bed to sleep in. If you're watching this video right now, you have all those things. And look back at how many times it felt to you like you weren't going to make it. You weren't going to make it out of a mental struggle, a financial struggle, a social struggle where your reputation was really at stake amongst friends, amongst family. All these times where you thought the world was collapsing around you and you made it out, and here you are. So once you start realizing, and once I started to realize that I'm always going to figure it out, no matter what the risks are that I take in this life, no matter how awful things get. On a micro level, I love when I go out to the club, I actually love going straight into approaches, even if I'm kind of nervous. So I'll have days where I was alone all day, at my computer all day, sitting inside, and my first human interaction of the day might be actually stepping foot into the club. And I'm walking up and I hear the crazy loud music and all the people, and it's jarring at first. And so maybe that initial anxiety level is kind of high. I love just jumping straight into the fire, getting out there, jumping straight into an approach, because when I do that, I prove to my system, to the adrenal cycle in my body, to my nervous system, that, hey, even when we're nervous about doing something, once we do it, everything works out. We figure it out. Even if I get rejected, even if it's a boring conversation, even if I'm a little shaky, I figure it out. And so for you guys, recognize that these things that you want to do in your life, you're so afraid of the consequences, but I promise you, that once you just jump into the freezing cold water, you leap head first instead of just barely tiptoeing. Instead of just barely tiptoeing, then you're going to find that everything will always work out for you, and you're going to end up at a place where you're able to find joy in your life. So, number 5, and this will be the final piece to this video, is you must, and this was so big for me, I learned this from another Tim Ferriss book actually, so you have to commit to entering the arena. even if commit to only entering the arena, even if that's all you can commit to. And so after I read the 4-Hour Work Week, I actually read Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Body. And for those of you who have been following me for a while, you'll know that I used to be 290 pounds. I got a buddy of mine who used to say to me, why don't you just say 300? It's easier. I don't know. I feel like I would be a liar if I said 300. I try to be as completely honest and transparent with people as possible. So I never reached 300. I might have actually reached 300, but I never saw it on the scale. So the highest I ever saw was closer to 295, around like 294, something like that. And I was incredibly fat, and I'm 5'11", so I was very, very fat, very gross. I had no muscle on my body. And Tim Ferriss's slow carb diet from the 4-Hour Body was actually what I used the very first time to successfully lose weight. I lost 23 pounds the first month. I lost 16 pounds the next month. I think I lost 12 the next month. And I just kept that going until I was all the way down to about 204. I eventually at one point got down to like 175. That was actually pretty unhealthy. I was very tired all the time and actually wasn't really a good situation for me at that time. But Tim Ferriss says in the 4-Hour Body, he says that oftentimes you struggle to go to the gym because you're thinking about your entire workout. You're thinking about the 10 lifts that you have to do and the 4 reps on, or the 10 reps on the 4 sets that you're doing for each lift and the cardio that you want to do. And you're getting so overwhelmed. And what Tim Ferriss said that changed my life forever was he said, just commit to going to the gym and walking on the treadmill for 5 minutes. Put your shoes on, put your shirt on, put your shorts on, drive to the gym and walk for 5 minutes. And look, sometimes when I was using that method, I would actually just get off that treadmill after about 10 minutes. But that was very rare. What would actually end up happening is because I've now committed to going to the arena and actually entering the Coliseum, I then would now have already done the hardest part, which was getting up the willpower and overcoming the resistance to just go. So when you do that and you're already there, then your mind just says, hey, we're already here. We might as well start dabbling in this workout. And then if you're somebody who demands anything, if you have any self-respect for yourself in this life, then when you start that workout, you're going to want to complete it also. So when it comes to picking up chicks, commit to going to the field. So many guys I talk to that I can't do night game, I can't do day game. How often do you go to the field, enter the arena, put your shoes on, put your shirt on, take a shower, get in your car, drive to the bar, go into the bar? Go to the mall just for day game, not to pick up your groceries, not to actually go buy something from the mall. How often are you going to a place to do game? And the answer is always basically never. Basically never. So if you're somebody who is struggling to take any action at all, commit to going to the arena. Step foot into the arena and see what happens when you just enter the arena. And for me, I mean, God, dude, for game, for business, for fitness, for all of it, committing to entering the arena only. That's my only commitment is you know what? I feel like shit. I don't want to do this. I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. And if I stand around and do nothing, then that's okay. You have to allow yourself that permission to say, if I stand around and I do absolutely nothing, then that's okay because I entered the Coliseum. But there's a very good chance that once you're already there, you're going to end up doing something. Now, I've slept with some of the hottest chicks I've ever hooked up with. I can trace back to the night that I met them. I was not feeling it. I did not even want to be out there. There's like 2 that really come to mind where they stuck around for a long time afterwards, where I had to drag myself kicking and screaming to get out to the field. And okay, I'll do this one. Okay, I'll do that one. All right, let me try to talk to this girl. Okay. I warm up. I keep lubing up. I'm getting ready. I'm all of a sudden I'm having fun. All of a sudden I find myself actually having a really good time. And now I meet this girl. And then boom, we're hooking up for fucking 5 months. And I wasn't even feeling it. I wasn't even going to go out. But I pushed myself. So I hope that you guys found this incredibly valuable. This is a longer form kind of piece of content that I'm used to typically doing. I just wanted to really share this with you guys. Like I said, maybe I'll do a follow-up to this with 5 more, because these are absolutely not the only ideas that have really changed my life and gotten me from a point of really having nothing in my life to now, I mean, truly, honest to God, kind of having everything that I want in life. And I want that for you guys, and I'm incredibly passionate about that. So thank you so much for tuning in. Comment down below if you found this helpful, and if you would maybe like to see another one or any other videos you would like to see from me, leave them in the comments below, and I will talk to you soon.